Hello, kids! Coming up in this episode of BKFK Storytime, Fergus O'Gold, the leprechaun, follows a rainbow, hoping to find a pot of gold. However, he finds the pot filled with a surprising treasure.
The pot was filled with colourful, shimmering treats, each one more fantastical than the last. They looked like chocolate, but with swirling patterns of bright colours, some shaped like tiny creatures, others like sparkling jewels.
He refuses to share his treasure with the curious creatures of Snaggleton. He eventually gives Stanky a taste, but by then, the treats were rotten.
Fergus!
Stanky groaned, clutching his stomach.
What did you give me? Oh no! Oh no!
Fergus cried, dropping the pot as Stanky began to vomit all over the floor.
Will Stanky survive this disaster? Listen to find out. Let's hear who the superstars are in this episode.
Hi, my name is Ellie. I live in Stuttgart, Germany, and I like dancing. And I am 7 years old.
Hi, I'm Mila. I'm 9 years old and I love mountain biking. I live in Stuttgart, Germany.
My name is Leo, and I'm 8 years old. I love playing with Legos and playing with my friends. And I come from Colorado.
Hi, my name is Adeline, and I'm 8 years old. I'm from California, and I like playing sports and playing with my little sister.
Well done, kids. A splendiferous performance. I'd just like to take the time to say a huge thank you to our patrons. Without you, we couldn't keep BKFK going. Listeners, if you'd like to join the BKFK patron community, it would not only mean the world to us, but you'd also get loads of bonuses, including an extra story every week. We're already on Chapter 11 of Queen Zixie of Ix by Frank L. Baum. Here's what it's about. The fairies weave a special magic cloak and give it to the humans. This cloak grants the wearer one wish. A poor girl named Meg is the first to get it, and she wishes for happiness, and it works. Her brother Bud even becomes the king of the land of Noland. Everything is going great until their grumpy Aunt Rivette tries on the cloak without knowing its magic and accidentally wishes to fly. She's totally shocked when it happens. In the latest episode, the king's 5 funny counselors, Tollydob, Tillydib, Tellydeb, Tullydub, and Tallydab, each try on the cloak without realizing its powers. What happens next? A bunch of silly, wish-filled chaos. Join us on Patreon to listen. Just go to patreon.com and search for By Kids for Kids Storytime. Okay, Ruby, let's get on with the story.
The Pot o' Treats. One fine morning in Magimajura, the magical land where everything and anything could happen, Fergus O'Gold, the leprechaun, awoke to a sight that made his heart flutter with excitement. The rain had stopped, and the sun peeked through the clouds, casting a beautiful rainbow across the sky. Fergus rubbed his eyes and jumped out of bed, nearly tripping over his oversized green suit, which was always just a tad too big.
Aha!
He exclaimed, twirling his shiny, jewel-encrusted cane.
A rainbow! And where there's a rainbow, there's treasure. It's going to be a tremendous day. The best day. The most magnificent day in all of Snaggleton.
Fergus quickly combed his golden hair, popped on his extravagant top hat, and polished his shoes until they sparkled even more than usual. He didn't want to waste a single moment. The treasure at the end of the rainbow was calling his name. But Fergus knew he had to be careful. Snaggleton was a curious village, and its residents would surely want to know where he was off to in such a hurry. So he peeked out the window to make sure no one was watching. The coast was clear.
Perfect. No one to bother me.
Fergus chuckled to himself.
This treasure is all mine, as it should be. After all, who else in Magimajura deserves it more than Fergus O'Gold?
With that, Fergus set off. He followed the rainbow, which arched high over the forests and fields of Snaggleton, leading him toward the mysterious Moon Shadow Mountains. The journey wasn't easy. He had to hop over trickling streams, duck under low-hanging branches, and even tiptoe past Troller the Troll, who was snoozing under a bush. "Shh," Fergus whispered to himself.
Quiet as a mouse, Fergus. Quiet as a mouse.
Finally, Fergus reached the end of the rainbow. There, sitting in the soft grass, was a pot. Fergus's eyes widened with excitement.
There it is!
He cried, rushing forward.
The pot of gold! I knew it!
But when Fergus reached the pot and peered inside, he gasped in surprise. There was no gold. Instead, the pot was filled with colourful, shimmering treats, each one more fantastical than the last. They looked like chocolate, but with swirling patterns of bright colours, some shaped like tiny creatures, others like sparkling jewels.
What in Magimajura is this?
Fergus wondered aloud, picking up a treat that looked like a tiny chocolate dragonfly.
Where's my gold? I was promised gold. But these do look delicious.
He took a deep sniff. The treats smelled heavenly. Fergus's mouth watered, but he quickly shook his head.
No, Fergus, you can't eat them now. These are special. Very special. I'll take them home and maybe figure out what to do with them later. After all, a treasure is a treasure.
Fergus carefully lifted the pot and started his journey back to Snaggleton. He was halfway through the village when he heard a voice.
Fergus, what's that you've got there?
It was Granny Gigglesnort, the village witch. She was peeking out from her window. Fergus nearly jumped out of his shoes.
Oh, nothing, Granny. Just a pot of something. Nothing you need to worry about.
Granny Gigglesnort wasn't convinced.
Smells like something tasty. You sure you don't want to share with the village? You know how we love a good treat.
Not today, Granny. Maybe another time.
Fergus said quickly, clutching the pot tightly and hurrying on his way. As he passed through Snaggleton, more villagers began to notice him. Stankenfrine waddled over to Fergus with a grin.
Fergus, old buddy, what you got there? Smells like something fine.
Stanky said, sniffing the air with his ogre-like nose.
Nothing for you, Stanky.
Fergus snapped, a bit too sharply.
I'm saving these for a very special occasion.
Stanky's grin faded.
Oh, come on, Fergus. Just a taste.
Not today.
Fergus insisted, turning on his heel and practically running the rest of the way home. When he finally reached his little house on the outskirts of Snaggleton, Fergus sighed with relief. He tucked the pot of treats into a secret compartment under his bed, making sure it was well hidden. Then he sat on his bed, wiping his brow.
Phew, that was close. No one's getting their claws on these. They're mine. I'll eat them when I'm good and ready.
But as the days passed, word spread through the village about Fergus's mysterious pot. Everyone was talking about it. Silvarus the elf visited Fergus to ask if he'd share the treats at her next tea party.
Fergus, darling,
She said,
I've heard you've got something quite extraordinary. Imagine how wonderful it will be to share it with all our friends at tea.
Fergus shook his head firmly.
Sorry, Silvarus, but not today. Maybe some other time.
Silvarus pouted, but she left without pressing him further. The days turned into weeks, and every time someone asked Fergus about the treats, he gave the same answer.
Not today!
Then, one morning, a full month after finding the pot, Stanky came knocking on Fergus's door again. This time, he looked even more pitiful than before.
Fergus,
Stanky began, his voice small and sad.
I've been dreaming about those treats. Just one, please?
Fergus frowned, but Stanky's pleading eyes made him hesitate.
Well, all right, Stanky. Just one, but don't tell anyone.
Fergus hurried to his secret compartment and pulled out the pot. As he opened it, a strange smell wafted out. It wasn't the sweet, delicious scent he remembered. It was sour, almost rotten.
Uh-oh,
Fergus muttered,
that doesn't smell right.
but Stanky, too excited to notice, grabbed a treat and popped it into his mouth. For a moment, he chewed happily. But then his eyes bulged and he turned green. Well, greener than usual.
Fergus,
Stanky groaned, clutching his stomach.
what did you give me?
Oh no! Oh no!
Fergus cried, dropping the pot as Stanky began to vomit all over the floor. The colourful treats spilled out, now mushy and spoiled. At that moment, Granny Gigglesnort burst through the door, her eyes wide with concern.
What's happening here?
Granny, help! Stanky's sick!
Fergus shouted, panicking. Granny Gigglesnort quickly pulled a small bottle from her pocket and poured some of its contents into Stanky's mouth. Almost immediately, Stanky stopped vomiting and started to feel better, though he was still very pale.
What were you thinking, Fergus?
Granny scolded, her voice stern.
You let these treats sit for too long. And now look at them. They've gone bad.
Fergus hung his head, feeling a wave of shame wash over him.
I didn't know, Granny. I just wanted to keep them for myself. But I should have shared.
Granny nodded, her expression softening a little.
Yes, you should have. Treats like these are meant to be enjoyed, not hoarded away. If you had shared them with your friends, they would have been fresh and delicious. Now they're ruined. And poor Stanky got sick.
Stanky, still a bit wobbly, nodded in agreement.
Yeah, Fergus. We could have all enjoyed them together.
Fergus sighed deeply.
You're right, Stanky. I'm sorry. I was so caught up in keeping the treasure to myself that I didn't think about anyone else.
it's okay, Fergus. We all make mistakes. But remember, sharing makes everything better. Next time you find something special, share it with your friends. It will be much more fun that way.
Fergus smiled weakly.
I will. I promise.
Quiz time! What did Fergus O'Gold find at the end of the rainbow? A. A pot of gold. B. A pot of colourful shimmering treats. C. A magical flower. Or D. A shiny jewel. And the answer is B. A pot of colourful, shimmering treats. Question 2. Why didn't Fergus want to share the treats? A. He thought they were magical gold. B. He wanted to save them for a special day. C. he was scared they would disappear. D. He wanted to keep them all to himself. And the answer is D. He wanted to keep them all to himself. 3. Who was the first to taste the spoiled treat? A. Granny Gigglesnort. B. Sir Chucklenugget. C. Stanky. Or D. Silvarus the Elf. And the answer is C. Stanky. 4. What happened when Stanky ate the treat? A. He started flying. B. He turned invisible. C. He got sick and vomited. D. He laughed uncontrollably. And the answer is C. He got sick and vomited. Question 5. What did Granny Gigglesnort say Fergus should have done with the treats? A. Thrown them away. B. Shared them with friends. C. Hidden them in a safer place. Or D. Traded them for gold. And the answer is B. Shared them with friends. Hey guys, if you like this episode, please share it with your friends and family. It is one of the best ways to support BKFK Storytime.